Welcome to the Friendly Podcast Guide, sorting through podcasts so you don't have to. I'm Andi Smiley, and I want to help you discover the right podcast without having to listen to an entire episode. Now, let's talk podcasts. Hello, I am excited to be here. I've wanted to make my own podcast for a really long time, and it is finally happening. Let me tell you a little bit about the Friendly Podcast Guide. Each episode will be about a different podcast. I'll start with basic information, like a description of the show, the length of each episode, if it's okay for little ears, when the episodes are available, if it's a short series or an ongoing show, and any other information that I think will help you decide on if it's a good fit for you. After that, I'll help you understand the vibe of the show, like if it's funny or serious, informational or more storytelling, straight facts or opinions. This will be done in one of two ways. I will share a clip from the podcast itself that I have carefully selected that accurately represents the vibe of the show, or I'll share an interview I did with the show's host so you can understand the background of the show and get a feel for what the host is like, which will help you get a feel for what the show is like. Now, I want to show you what every episode will be like by doing it for this show. The show description is, with more than 1 million podcasts for you to listen to, finding one that fits your needs can be overwhelming. The Friendly Podcast Guide is here to help you discover the right podcast by giving you pertinent details and helping you get a feel for the show in 5 to 10 minutes. Maybe this is obvious, but the length of the show is 5 to 10 minutes long. It is completely kid-friendly. I promise to never use words that you don't want your children to repeat. The episodes will be available every Tuesday morning, and it is an ongoing show. I plan to drop an episode every Tuesday morning until we run out of podcasts, which will not be happening for a very long time. With this being the first episode, I can't share a clip from it to help you get a feel for the vibe of the show, so I decided to answer the questions that I would normally ask in an interview. My name is Andi Smiley. I love podcasts and I listen to a lot of them. If you're around me for any amount of time, I'll probably tell you about something I learned from a podcast. I'm also a mom of 3 littles, ages 4 and under, and I have found that listening to podcasts has helped me keep my sanity while building block towers for the 100th time, or when I haven't spoken to another adult all day. I'm starting this podcast because when I was introduced to podcasts, I was super excited to start listening, but I had no idea where to start. People would recommend podcasts to me, but many of them weren't what I was looking for. And I didn't have time to do a bunch of research to figure out what podcasts would be a good fit for me. Eventually, through a lot of trial and error, I found podcasts that I absolutely love, and I have my go-to sources for new podcasts. But I want the process of finding the right podcasts to be easier for you. Thus, this podcast was born. The Friendly Podcast Guide is designed to help you figure out if a podcast is right for you in 5 to 10 minutes. Because it's daunting to have a bunch of new hour-long podcast episodes in your podcast feed that you don't even know if you will like. I want to be your Friendly Podcast Guide. So I already have a long list of podcasts that I listen to or I'm going to listen to, but I would love to hear from you about any podcasts that you want me to do an episode on. You can email me about them at friendlypodcastguide@gmail.com. Also, if you could subscribe to this podcast, that would be absolutely amazing. I would love to be in your ears every Tuesday, helping you figure out what podcasts you want to listen to and which ones you might just want to skip. Talk to you soon.